I say,
when they call you in the name,
when a man call me in there,
yeah.
He asked me, say, how many of you are working to the area? I say, we are 3.
You told the message you're 3.
Yeah. So he said, I want to give you tea to carry to
the message you want to give you what?
Tea. Hot milk tea. Hot milk tea.
Oh, milk tea.
Yeah.
For you to drink
with bread.
The bread.
3 pieces of real bread.
With egg inside.
With egg inside my butter. So when I carry it to the man, say carry to the man. When you give it to the man, then you must come back to the car.
So the food make you now carry that so you can go convince your friend.
Yeah. When I give it to the man say thank you. I say okay. The man say, oh, where you going now? I say, oh, I'm going right car. So one of my friends called me.
Yeah, the same man you going to now.
Yeah, the same man.
The man tell you say he want for you to go steal.
No, yeah. So when I go to the man, he say clean the car. Then they are 2 now.
In a jeep.
In a jeep. Then they are 2.
A big jeep.
Yeah. Black BG, photo G. Yeah. So when I clean the car now,
air condition all inside.
No. Papa, you can't wait for me to spin now. I'll leave the whole town now. You can judge people.
I just asking you a question, sorry.
You can judge people like you can't hear.
No, I'm a journalist. I beg you, sorry.
The way you talk in the question, can I say when I move from here, I'll free? Can I say when I move from here, I'll free? You said one talk again. I wanted to make a whole talk clear to you, but you double in the question. Hi, looking, then you want force another more word there again. Why not be looking to the top? I'm not going to talk again. And said they call me to the office, I go explain.
I think you explain to me that you come to get you say you carry tea to the man. After you carry tea to the man, and you come now. So what next now?
And for me, I'll not there.
Nobody, you getting very. You say asking you too much question. Hey, just explain things. Say make your egg and bread. You bring it. Okay, sorry. Now I say sorry now. Okay, sorry.
If you
I will not ask you the question again. Okay, sorry.
When I give you answer now, then you.
Okay. Explain again. I'm not asking you no more question again. Okay, like why now?
Go to school. The English say I name the English.
Okay, sorry. Now I say sorry now. Sorry.
See, Ali, you take time. You take time.
I'm taking time. Okay, sorry. Okay.
Say I can take time
to explain.
Yeah,
okay.
Les fois Seigneur.
Pulutazo.
Topotoma fala ba ine ka workshop.
Le toma fala mingo. Toki.
Les second one year.
Audito.
To point by the Guinness so you can still.
Alelu mingo Guinea.
The clear one here. So you can block the polar so you can come against.
I'm filled with a profound sense of gratitude and humility. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve as your president and commander-in-chief for the past 6 years. Together, in 2018, we embarked on a journey to build a united, peaceful, and prosperous Liberia. And I am deeply thankful for the trust and support you have bestowed upon me and my administration during my tenure. As we navigate the complexity of governance, your partnership was instrumental in the development and implementation of policies and programs that aim to bring progress and development to our great nation. Reflecting on the accomplishment of these 6 years, let me tell you that I am proud of what we have achieved together. We have built roads, supported free wires and free tuition at high schools and public universities, stabilized the macroeconomic challenges we face in 2018, built hundreds of pro-poor housing units, and achieved on so many fronts that we are able to list here today. However, I acknowledge that there is always room for improvement, and perhaps more could have been done under different circumstances. Regrettably, some of the long-term projects we initiated did not reach completion during my tenure. I am hopeful that the incoming administration will carry the torch forward and bring these initiatives to fruition for the benefit of all Liberians. Fellow compatriots, rumors, and misinformation have played a large part in our politics over the last 6 years. It is my hope we as a country will overcome this challenge over the next 6 years. To begin this, we must start with the facts of the transition. I must report to you that we are leaving behind a better economy than we inherited. Today, President-elect Joseph Nima Bouaka will inherit a stronger economy than I inherited. There is a bigger net international reserve position than was handed me in 2018. I inherited 94,999,000 United States dollars in net international reserves. And I am handing over to the next administration a net international reserve position of 222,700,000 United States dollars. This is 136% increase in the net international reserve position. The total cash balance in the government's consolidated account is United States $40,044,365.90. In 2018, my government inherited a consolidated cash position of $7 million United States dollars. The next administration thus has more resources to deal with emergency macroeconomic challenges than my administration had at its disposal in 2018. My fellow citizens, through our time together, I have still fast to two cornerstones of leadership: keeping the peace and upholding the democratic process and the root of our democratic journey. I am immensely proud that during my tenure, Liberia remained at peace with itself and at peace with its neighbor. Our armed forces, the force of good, were never turned against our own people, and the standard actions were confined to international peacekeeping mission under the United Nations. This peace, sustained by our own domestic resources, is a testament to the maturity and strength of our nation. We protected the inalienable rights of every Liberian citizen as enshrined in our Constitution. Freedom of speech, assembly, and expression were not only preserved, but celebrated. There were no political prisoners or prisoners of conscience during my entire term, a testament to the development of strong democratic institutions that are now not only hailed as competent and professional, but as trusted and credible. Liberia is now regarded as a pillar of democracy in West Africa and a shining example to the world. This was only made possible through our various collaborative efforts. I want to thank all Liberians, regardless of your political affiliation, for staying the course and helping build a stronger and more vibrant nation. As I step aside as president of Liberia, I will remain actively engaged with the politics of the country as standard bearer and political leader of the Coalition for Democratic Change, the CDC, in order to ensure the continuation of our strong and vibrant democracy. I therefore urge you, my fellow citizens, to continue to be law-abiding and seek peaceful means to resolve differences, embrace tolerance and dialogue. Let us love one another and come together as one people, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us remember the strength of our unity, the resilience of our democracy, and the hope that lies in the future of Liberia. As we welcome a new era, let us move forward hands in hand with a shared commitment to building a united nation that will continue to strive on observing the tenets of democracy and adhering to the rule of law. May God bless you all, and may God continue to bless the Republic of Liberia.
Those who wrote the speech, in inauguration day, everybody happy. We are rejoicing over the defeat of the old regime. We are rejoicing about the effort to bring a new regime. Then we'll sit down with happiness. We go write paper for that 79-year-old man. He's struggling to read. Then before that, I will tell you that nation, I will tell US, I will bring one for here. Because you think one for I'm going to translate. By the time the open of reading, when you got to the page. That's it. Because in this country,
when you elect a clown and you think that he will be a king, what he does is to convert the kingdom into a circus. This is what we must deal with, and this is what we must say. Who do we elect into our public offices? Because, as I've said before, when you allow hyenas to take care of goats, why should you be surprised when the goats are eaten? This is the same. And Africa is only going to realize our potential in all areas when, by dint of choice, we enable and allow our best men and women to serve in different areas. I've heard it being said about Lee Kuan Yew in Singapore. I've heard it being suggested about Mahathir Mohamad in Malaysia. I've heard it being said about Japan. I've heard it being said about other countries, but there was a conscious decision on the part of those individuals and the followership. We always talk about leaders, but we never talk about the followers. The followers must also style up. Africans on average are for some reason attracted to thieves. Africans are for some reason attracted to men and women who cannot serve her. And when they are not served, then they complain. When Africans are told, choose you now whom we shall release, Jesus of Nazareth or Barabbas, they say, release Barabbas. And when Barabbas behaves like Barabbas, they say, why are you not behaving like Christ? It cannot be done.
In May of 2001, signed a second of two executive orders, number 13213, Defense Exhibit D310, in which it was stated, and I quote, the government of Liberia's complicity in the RUF's illicit trade in diamonds and its other forms of support for the RUF are direct challenges to the United States foreign policy objectives in the region, as well as the rule-based international order that is critical to the peace and prosperity of the United States. Therefore, I find these actions by the government of Liberia contribute to the unusual and extraordinary threat to the foreign policy of the United States described in Executive Order 13194, with respect to which the President declared a national emergency. This executive order did not say the alleged complicity, it concluded the complicity. The conspiracy was born, all systems put into motion, and here I stand today. I never stood a chance. This is the broader contextual matrix that regrettably did not and still has not seen the light of day in these proceedings, despite the gallant efforts by the defense to unearth and reveal the contextual framework behind the charges against me. Now, with the two executive orders, the dogs were let out, so to speak. What followed was a dispatch of the attack pack led by Lieutenant Colonel David Crane, Defense Intelligence, 30 years, prosecutor. He, Crane, unlawfully unsealed the court's sealed indictment to his handlers, senior U.S. government officials at the U.S. Embassy in Freetown, and was never held to account. The rest of the operational team are Colonel Brandon Hollis, Defense Intelligence, CIA, U.S. Air Force, Senior Trial Counsel, and now prosecutor. James C. Johnson, U.S. Army expert, 20 years, unconventional and special operations, Chief of Prosecutions for the SCSL. Alan White, 30 years, Defense Intelligence, recalled from retirement to head up investigations at the Special Court of Sierra Leone. Stephen J. Rapp came on board as chief prosecutor for a short time with experience from Capitol Hill, where he served with a U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee sometime before. It came as no surprise to me that as a reward of sorts for Stephen Rapp's diligence in the execution of U.S. foreign policy objectives through these ad hoc tribunals, he was appointed U.S. Ambassador at Large for War Crimes issues. In support of the contextual framework of politics, on February 8, 2006, Lieutenant Colonel David Crane, prosecutor, appeared before a U.S. Congress Subcommittee on Africa, Defense Exhibit D404, and spelled out in clear terms the decision taken in support of regime change in Liberia and what needed to happen to solidify that process. There was little mention, if any, in his testimony about Sierra Leone. And here is what he said. I posted that 5 years from now, when the international community is challenged by other crises, Taylor in Calabar, under the protection of Nigeria, will make his move. We will wake up one morning and watch on CNN as Taylor rides triumphantly down the main street in Monrovia to the executive mansion, daring all of us to come and get him. Unless he is handed over to the special court for Sierra Leone, this scenario is not out of the realm of possibilities. He then asked, how do we assure Liberia's future? And he answers that. Ultimately, he says, what we do about Taylor in the next several weeks will determine the fate of Liberia and the new administration of its president, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Crane then sets out several plans, two of which I'll state here. He said, first, hand Charles Taylor over to the special court for Sierra Leone for a fair trial, his kind of trial. This takes him out of the local and regional dynamics that is West Africa. Second, tie any financial and political support to good governance in Liberia. Time does not permit, but the exhibits are present. Not even the Nigerian nation was spared from threats and intimidation, as explained by Femi Kayode, press secretary to President Obasanjo, the Nigerian head of state, who was with him in Washington when President George W. Bush promised, and I quote, to bring Nigeria to its knees if Taylor was not turned over to the special court. And what happened? Obasanjo buckled and capitulated. Now, this demonstrates the significant pressure that was brought to bear on President Obasanjo, irrespective of his personal and leadership obligations to the West African sub-region. And therein lies the dilemma for current African heads of state and government, but how to enter into binding commitments and obligations with the African pairs and remain steadfast, resolute, and unyielding in their fidelity to those agreements in the face of such unrelenting and punishing pressure from powerful Western leaders.
My people, where you at? Where you at? Wake up from your slumber, stop sleeping. Wave your hands, wave your hands, wave your hands, wave your. Come on, come on, come on. I know y'all sleeping now. Y'all gotta wake up small, yeah? Okay, let's go. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. So much. I said, they lie. The people fool us, so the people lie to us. The government betray us. They get lies, they get steal, I said, we tired with their lies. We tired with their promises that led us to all our damages. We tired with that speech they preach in D and now you need to deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrates us. So why does you lie? Why does you steal? Why does you allow the citizens to be? See, we just tell you that why we vote tell you. But you fool us, you screw us, you use us and little abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that the question that we ask, they lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us.
Again, welcome.
I said they lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. My people, where you at? Where you at? Wake up from your slumber, stop sleeping.
Welcome to Freedom Hard Talk on Freedom FM 87.9.
Come on.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are following us on Freedom Hard Talk, Freedom 87.9. On this fresh Wednesday's edition of the program, I want to welcome you. Welcome back on Freedom Hard Talk. A lot of fascinating topics tonight. Stay tuned to your radio.
We tired with the promises that led us.
As Representative Yeke Koluba's expulsion is still pending in the news.
Deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrates us.
Pundits are asking whether Speaker Richard Nambekong is in the right position to preside over any perceived impeachment proceedings.
But you fool us. You screw us.
The former Minister of Finance, Samuel Ditwe, on the spotlight. He and his colleagues are still in court. While the Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia calls for stronger democracy, someone says, why is the Chief Justice now calling for stronger democracy? Is there not already a stronger democracy?
The government betray us. The people sue us. The people laugh us.
Because people who are criticizing the code, in fact, questioning the code's authority as it relates to transparency and accountability.
The people laugh to us.
The courts have been threatening, clamping down, stamping free speech, pushing people to buckle and capitulate. Their statements retract what they said because of court pressure, intimidation, and coercion.
You are like the citizens don't be. We just tell you.
The late Solomon Claudius George to be laid to rest on the 28th of March. President Bwaka. Have President Bwaka intervened?
Why? But the question that we ask
in terms of formalities leading to the interment of the late Honorable Solomon George, who died as a staunch unity partisan. And that it is now that President Bwaka is intending to visit the home of former Representative George, who switched allegiance to the Unity Party before his death.
The people lie to us. The government betray us.
The question is, has President Bwaka played his role as the head of state, recognizing the contributions made, particularly to the Unity Party, by the late Solomon Claudius George? Those are the questions tonight. When we are back, we go straight into our topics and recognize our followers via the social media.
But you fool us, you screw us, you use us and little FB.
And recognize all of our followers that are following us via several and different mediums. Again, want to say welcome. I'm Junkies Morris in your company. I'm here alone tonight. Hopefully, Austin will be here tomorrow. He's turning to some other issues as usual on Wednesday until that can be concluded. So I'm here alone to drive you through. We will quickly take our break, and when we are back, we go strictly into our talking points by discussing why Representative Yeke Koluba should or should not be impeached, who has the authority, and all of that. We take our break quickly, and when we are back, we jump into our talking points.
Freedom FM, yes. The Win Liberia cash giveaway is here. For just 50 LD or 25 cents USD, you can win from 5K, 6K, 8K, and 10K LD. To play the Win Liberia cash giveaway, dial *255*1#. Again, dial *255*1#. The more you play, the better your chances. It's the Win Liberia cash giveaway on Freedom 87.9 FM.
About musical. There are crowds in many places, in every community, you can see. So if you see crime, report it. Don't take law in your hand for the right authority. That it can't take care of it. Crime Stopper here for us. Bringing safety to your door. Whether you rich or you poor. If you see a human talking, I mean you cheche. Do it for your safety. If you see a don't keep it. You must call to report it. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and make it peace for them before. Crime Stopper, Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crime for all of us. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and make it peace for them before. Crime Stopper, Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crime for all of us.
Crime Stopper Liberia is your community crime fighting partner. Don't take the law into your own hands. Remember, if you see a crime, report it. This is a message from your own self, Old Man Sam Cyan.
Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and make it peace for them before. Crime Stopper, Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crime for all of us. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and make it peace for them before. Crime Stopper, Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crime for all of us.
Are you seeking financial empowerment, dreaming of building your future? Then your solution is Bokonjide Group of Companies. Bokonjide, your trusted partner in microfinance, construction, and general services. We provide microfinance for many institutions like House of Representatives, the Liberian Senate, National Port Authority, Governance Commission, LRA, Gender Ministry, Corporate Development Authority, GAC, and Auto Lines Ministry and Agency, with a percentage range from 15% to 20%. At Bokonjide, we understand your aspiration, your goals, and your dreams. That's why we offer tailored microfinance solutions designed to uplift individuals and communities alike. Whether you are an entrepreneur with a vision or a family aiming for a better tomorrow, our microfinance services pave the way to financial independence. But that's not all. Bokonjide Group of Companies doesn't just stop at microfinance. Our expert construction team brings your architecture dreams to life. From residential to commercial projects, we craft spaces that inspire, innovate, and endure. And when it comes to general services, Bokonjide is your one-stop destination. From facility management to logistics, we ensure seamless operation every step of the way. With our apartment rental and furnished apartment for long and short-term stay, you will enjoy the luxury of comfort. Join the thousands who have entrusted their dreams to Bokonjide. Experience unmatched professionalism, dedication, and integrity. With Bokonjide Group of Companies, your success is not just a goal, it's our mission. Visit our Capitol Building office or find us in the Royal Garden Plaza on Crown Hill, Broad Street, or call today 0770-520-958 or 0777-017-603 or 086-622-599 or email Bokonjide Group of Companies at gmail.com. Bokonjide Group of Companies, microfinance, construction, general services, your partner in progress. New Day, do something.
Know that, do something. Thank you. Welcome back to Freedom Hard Talk on Freedom FM 87.9. I'm here in your company tonight, driving you through our talking points alone. Austin is taking care of some issues, as I said previously. And again, I'm Junkies Morris in your company, bringing you the program on the Wednesday's edition of Freedom Hard Talk on Freedom FM 87.9. We want to recognize our many followers via the social media, all of our followers there following us via the electronic media and whatever means you are using to follow us. Keep following This is Freedom Heart Talk. Representative Solomon Josh to be laid to rest. The Unity Party, led by Mr. Boakai, is just talking about, let's say, three days ago, in terms of the interment of the late Representative Solomon C. Josh, former Representative Solomon C. Josh, and it is now that the head of the political party, Representative Solomon Josh, pledged allegiance to in his last days, is going to meet Representative George family in the dying minute to the time of his final burial. So we keep telling our people, for some of you who think that you can be patient, for some of you who think that it can get better, some of you who think that there is no tomorrow and you are just jumping the gun, some of you are just in rush, you just want opportunity by all costs, even if it costs that you dance with the devil, you do that just to have wealth, fame, and power, which is not in line with the rightful trajectory of life, that you live a peaceful, safe, humble, and stable life if your hands are clean, if you are waiting on your time, if you are of that patience and minors that are of good standards in the eyes of God. But if you do not learn to be patient and you think you can jump ahead of your shadow, you will dare be living in error. Evidence of what the Unity Party continues to do to people who cross carpets to them. Evidence of what the Unity Party continues to show Liberians, that they are unforgiving, they are vindictive, the leader carries a huge burden of personal vendetta. This is somebody who is clued with the issue of keeping grudge. This is somebody who does not forgive. This is somebody who keeps speech. This is somebody who has an evil heart. This is somebody who does not allow anything go unpunished, unnoticed, except when it is in his interest. He's the person that is leading this country as our leader. And some of our brothers and sisters cannot bear it, forgetting to know that we have a walk in the park 2029. They could not bear it. Some of them are just rushing and going to the Unity Party, putting their stomachs in wheelbarrows, selling it to the Unity Party that does not accept outsider. They consider you as outsider. You have no place there. In fact, they have a saying that we didn't send for you, but we have a space for you. So I'm calling on well-meaning citizens, people who are in the interest of this country to develop, who have supported President Weah over the years, who continue to support former President Weah. They continue. Everything has time. For Nanti, wait for your time. Your time will come. Your time will come. You waited. Says Yeki, you licky. It shows you that there is prospect. The possibility of another 6 years, additional 12 years, additional 18, 24 is not elusive. It is hard work. It is consistency. It is persistence. It is loyalty. And above all else, it is love for country. Looking at leaders who have love for this country, who have shown the gust, who have shown the willingness to preserve over this country in a prosperous and developed manner, who are showing that their stewardship over this country is only and just to preserve over this country to prosper. Those are the leaders we should count. Those are the leaders we should stay with. Those are the leaders we should keep around. Those are the leaders we should hail. We should not fall in love with thieves. It is wrong for Liberians to continuously allowing themselves to fall in love with thieves, gluttons, kleptocrats. We have to break away from the past. We have to break away from the past of tribal politics. We have to break away from the past where Joe Barker and his people will come and lie to you, take power, refuse to initiate a single project for which you elected them, and at the end of the day, they come with the blame game, and you sit there, you think that all is well, all is not well. You have elected a government of incompetent people, a government of a leadership of high ineptitude, poor administrative skills, and weak manager. So all you have from these complex compound situations Liberia is faced with, especially that they have unfortunately given power to a vindictive Joe Barker. These are what you have. Somebody who pledged loyalty and support. The fact that they still have that in mind, that when the late Representative Solomon George was with the CDC, he was renting at them. He was launching missiles that were in line with bringing them to their knees, especially that they had always been corrupt and they've always milked this country resources. That's why the late Solomon George capitulating over to them did not look honest and sincere to them, and it did not give him the attention he needed as a former lawmaker who served the legislature for 12 years. So the Unity Party folks out there who are thinking that since you don't have job and they recognized you as seditions, you were removed from your positions. So on that basis, you want to join the Unity Party so that you can put food on your table. It will be temporary. You will be used and dumped. Don't take that risk. It will be better you wait for your time. And like our people say, patient dog eat the fattest bone. And leads also the issue with Minister Samuel Toy, the former Minister of Finance, and his colleagues. Even though his other colleague, Honorable Jefferson Camo, asked for a separate trial on what basis, he knows best, and that was rejected by the court. The jurors have been impaneled now, and the prosecution of that case is very in full swing, and we are watching on, urging particularly the Solicitor General, who is the minister, let's say the SG, the Minister of Justice or Minister of Justice, Chief Prosecutor. We are asking him, with all of the prejudices being expressed by him, to dwindle it, lower it down, so that we allow due process, fair trial in a case regarding this allegation against former Minister Samuel Toy. Because what is being sensed is that the Solicitor General, in cahoots with other media colleagues, are forming and organizing a scheme wherein public pressure will be on or against Minister Samuel Twe and his colleagues, shifting opinion in the direction of the government, even though there is no sufficient evidence for these people to be found guilty. But the Solicitor General, the SG of the country, is prejudicing the case by rendering judgment that these people are already guilty. So you see the kind of country we are living in, where you have people in positions and considering themselves to be demagogue. People in positions considering themselves to be a prime minister, de facto prime minister, running the country, doing what they want to do. Anything they think they can get away with it, do it. Those are the individuals we have in government. And particularly, especially at the courts, where our faith as Liberians lie. The only place that we supposed to get fairness, the only place that we supposed to feel at ease, the place that should allow us to go to bed normal, the only place that should be the last resort for all of our problems, calamities, tragedies, confusion, and conflict, is the place where people, cases are being prejudiced, is a place that the government is using as a pawn shop. This is the place where the United States State Department have rendered as corrupt. This is the place former Minister Samuel Twe and his colleagues are undergoing trial. This is the place where arms are twisted on a regular basis, to the extent that even an associate justice goes to Grand Bassa and announce to the Liberian people and the entire world that the judiciary is the black cow, which is a clear indication that he's saying we Liberians and the entire world should not have confidence in the judiciary, on the basis that those best practices leading to international best principles as regards to the rule of law and due processes are being twisted, are being derailed, are being flouted. You know, if you will have such a system where boys are playing around the lives of people, the integrity of people, the future of people, the future of generation to come, playing with the lives, the future of the kids that these people have, then it worrisome. It is something that worries concern. We all must come together to call this to order. We need to place a check mark to this. This have to have a checkpoint. If we don't do that, we are headed for trouble. If we don't do that, we are headed for trouble. An example is the fact that Guinea deployed military personnel in our territory and we did not respond under the rules of engagement. Right there, Guinea already have the platform on precedence that we are weak and they can do it again and again and again. This is the same situation with the coast. The coast continue to hamper speedy, free and fair trial. That is why the U.S. State Department is on the back of the coast. In fact, sanction is loading. Sanction is loading. Justices will be swallowed. Justices will be swallowed. When you add a frog, the snake will swallow you. I'm telling you, if you have such a system that sets bad precedents, and this is the same system that is witch hunting Minister Samuel Twe, the same system that will go after somebody personal vehicles they purchased just for their business and commercial use because of personal vendetta by President Joe Boakai. Those people properties were being chased. Mr. Boakai still decided to go after those people property even though they were private properties. They are privately owned properties. But Mr. Boakai decided to go after those people because the fact that they were close to WIA, the fact that they are seditions, it means that they are outcast. The fact that they are confidants to WIA, the fact that the proximity they have to WIA cannot be changed, it cannot be disconnected. It means they are outcast, they have no place in the society. Boakai determines and Boakai decides who is a legitimate Liberian and what had been the pillow on which we lived years in, years out, have been derailed by Boakai because Boakai have taken unto himself the ownership of Liberia. Boakai have taken unto himself the trend of lying to the Liberian people to the extent that Guineans are on our land. And Boakai is scheming and cannot tell Liberians what's the outcome in terms of all of those channels he's using in mitigating this problem. He is still taciturn and tight-lipped. This is a schemer, and this is the best way that these schemers like Joe Boakai behaves. Boakai is a schemer, and this is the only way he behaves in responding to you Liberians, that he will not change. He will only remain a schemer who brings a goat from Lofa, fattening it with artificial substances, allowing it to be very plentiful in size and huge, so as to increase and extort money from who be buyer and increase the price of the goat. So it is a foundational issue. This man has started the issue of stealing from the foundation. This is a man who started way down the line. He learned ever since he learned the crooked thing, the koyokaya thing, the kind of different way of doing things. Way back when he himself told us, we Liberians, told us that he brought with him a tiny goat that he was able to strategically, criminally fatten with artificial substances to allow him benefit, use some of money from that goat that's supposed to be tanning. So you see, this is the individual we are dealing with. A crook in chief, a schemer par excellence, and somebody who is an accomplice of criminality. That's why the only thing Boakai is interested in is to go after people who are close to WIA, because he does not have a clue as to where he's headed till 2029. And so there is no prospect in the mind, in the sight of Joe Boakai for 2029. What do you expect from Joe Boakai? Joe Boakai will go at mark. Joe Boakai will act like a drowning man who, in fact, if there is an available razor blade, you will want to hold it just for survival. And it is what Joe Boakai is already portraying, the semblance of a wicked, ruthless, reckless, and misguided decisions going close to elections of a Joe Boakai is what we are seeing. A man who does not have any interest in this country, a man who does not think that this country needs to be protected by him as the head of state. This is a man who we are dealing with. That's why the issue of the court is unfortunate. The case with Minister Samuel Twe and his colleagues is a non-case, because if you want to compare that with The situation at the Guinea border, you've already spent more than $3 million going to $4 million just in split weeks. And you are talking about $6 million being expended on security matter, critical security matter, especially at a crucial time where you, Joe Barker, at which time you, Joe Barker, was calling for the obliteration, the total obliteration of our democratic infrastructure and our entire country. You were calling for the destruction of Liberia, Mr. Barker. I hope you remind yourself. So if you pretend to forget, this is a reminder. Those monies were being spent to put in place proper mechanism that will curb whatever violence that you've already started instigating before we could even go to the election. Threatening that if it causes Liberia to be brought down, Liberia will be brought down once you can win election. This is the man we are dealing with. Liberians, I hope you have not forgotten. This is the man who lied to you, told you that war crimes code, war and economic crimes code would have been set up. They campaigned, they protested against the Weah regime for not establishing war and economic crimes code. Under Bwaka, 3 years running, Bwaka is still reneging on his promises. Who does that? Only a pony rabbit will do that. Only a schemer will do that. Somebody who does not have integrity. Only that person will do that. After you've promised and you renege on your promise. After you promise to do, because of that, Liberians got under the ring. Since you've not been tried, thinking that if they have tried you, they will get good result from you. Unfortunately, today, they are crying that those places they used to have opportunity to sell their market, to be able to send their children to school, feed their family, pay their rent, build their houses, they live 1 or 2 bedroom houses, buy their land, send their children to college, and provide for medical bills and other bills that are everyday routine, and they are not selling to those places anymore. Those are the results. That their homes will be illegally demolished in no time, in a short space of time, notify you without giving you time to adjust and rush on you and demolish your facility. Now, even stopping there, Liberians are left with the scourge of a Joe Barker ordering the military to take over the barrier that they do not even have a plan for in terms of any blueprint leading to a project that should be undertaken at that complex or that compound. But Liberians who were there, who are already at the dead end of the economic ladder, who are still struggling with the volatile increase in goods and services and living conditions, the excruciating pain being felt by Liberians on a daily basis to find food to eat, they are left with the scourge of a Joe Barker ordering the military to remove them from the barracks that should belong to Liberia. It belongs to the armed forces of Liberia, and Liberians are occupying it. There's no issue. If there is a plan, if there is a project, if there is a program, that has a clear outcome, a clear blueprint that the entire world can see, that everybody can know and recognize, realize that we all need to support this project, there wouldn't have been any issue, Mr. Bwaka. Even the issue of not allowing yourself to treat your people as rolling stones. What you call RAP, Resettlement Action Plan, is usually enshrined in these plans and programs in terms of relocating and restructuring. So, Mr. Bwaka, you cannot be treating your people like rolling stone. You cannot get the Solicitor General prejudicing cases. You cannot get the judiciary, especially calling for strong democracy. How does one agree with the judiciary? The judiciary is a major pillar, of our democracy. The judiciary supposed to be the guide to our democracy. Why now the judiciary calling for strong democracy? So the judiciary is vindicating the U.S. State Department's argument and allegation that she's corrupt. Because if the judiciary is not corrupt, there's no need that you call for stronger democracy. Because it is the judiciary that makes our democracy stronger. So how will Junkies Morris be calling another person to come and do the show, even though Austin Kawa is now around, and it is Junkies Morris who should sit in as the co-host, who should sit in to host the show? Freedom Hard Talk. How will Junkies Morris be calling KOK to come and do Freedom Hard Talk when KOK should be doing Freedom Hop? How does it work? How does it work? The Chief Justice is responsible. The judiciary is responsible to brace the democracy that we need to enjoy and we're supposed to enjoy. The judiciary, headed by the Chief Justice, supposed to be the pillar on which everything's supposed to rest. The Chief Justice Jordan calling for stronger democracy. When the Chief Justice needed to prioritize everything that has to do with the ingredients of the rule of law, due process, fast-tracking cases without delay and denial, free, fair, and transparent trials, void of prejudice, void of arm twisting, void of executive and other interventions. Is it the judiciary we have? If we had that judiciary, the Chief Justice wouldn't have called for stronger democracy. If we had a judiciary that works strictly under the ambience of the judicial canal, then there's no need for us to call for stronger democracy. There's no need for the Chief Justice to worry as to whether our democracy is strong or not. If the Chief Justice himself will be calling for stronger democracy, then what Junkies Morris will be calling for? Because I'm sitting here and depending on the judiciary that the Chief Justice has to protect my rights, just in case there's an infringement or violation on my right. And the Chief Justice is not in a confident position. It's not in the best position to address those ills that are confronting the judiciary, but the Chief Justice is complaining. When the Chief Justice has the authority to change it around, when the Chief Justice has the authority to make sure that the judiciary, judiciary is far from corruption. The Chief Justice is supposed to stem corruption and nip it in the bud before it grows. The Chief Justice is the head of the judiciary and should provide best practices that leads to judicial cleansing, where the judiciary will be free of arm twisting, remote controlled intrusions, invasions, interferences is what we expect of the judiciary. And the highest decision of these expectations lie strictly in the purview of the Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia. So coming out to complain is crying baby, Mr. Chief Justice. It's crying baby. You are now with the gavel, that same gavel you used to send Prophet Key to South Beach. Use that same gavel to have a judicial overhaul. Use that same gavel, Mr. Chief Justice, to have a judicial overhaul. Will allow stronger democracy. This will allow stronger democracy. If you do that, if you use that gavel in line with your judicial authority, Mr. Chief Justice, there will be no need to call for stronger democracy, because it will be seen, it will be pervasive enough that all Liberians from all walks of life, in all facets of the society, will feel the fairness, the balance, the accuracy, the speediness, the free, transparent organization and architecture that the judiciary now will be running on, based on your reforms that you will undertake to change the course of action, to change the image of the judiciary, to rebrand the entire judicial system of our country. Since you are there now with the gavel, there is no need to complain anymore. Mr. Chief Justice, no need to complain anymore. If you are complaining, then who do we complain to? You have the authority now. Don't cry, baby. Take the bull by the horn. There's no need to cry, baby. You are in charge. You are the Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia. All you need to do is to make the rightful decision that will see that place changed to a dependable institution where our rights are protected and where we can run when we are offended. Not a place that Liberians will always run away from and think of taking into their hands the law, taking unto themselves authorities that they should not use when it should belong to the government. It is the Chief Justice that will have to take the bold step, take leadership and responsibility seriously, and lead why associate justices, judges of subordinate courts, and all other judicial officials will follow, and there will be a swift and aggressive reform at the judiciary. But if the Chief Justice stays in his complaining portfolio where he's just groaning and murmuring and making complaints that are not called for, that he should be addressing and not be saying for people to hear because he's the authority. Complaining himself is uncalled for, is unethical. It is not something the Chief Justice should do. The Chief Justice is not the person that should be making political statements. The Chief Justice is not the person that should be speaking of the judicial system as if he's an outsider. He is supposed to be informing Liberians that this used to happen and it was not the way the judicial system should work. This is the transformation we've done in this particular area. Here is how we have changed what had been happening before. Here is how we have changed what had been happening before. This is the new pattern we've put in place. This is the new style we have instituted to progress, to develop, but not to be complaining and crying, baby. That is a statement, excuse me, that I will consider as a weak administrative pattern and style of leadership. You cannot be complaining yourself and you think people will take you seriously. The judiciary has a major stake in balancing our democracy. So you're calling for stronger democracy? Yes, we agree. The executive put her eyes together and decide to do the right thing. The legislature. But if you, the judiciary, continues to be corrupt as you are already corrupt, evidence of what the U.S. State Department have released, evidence of what one of your colleagues have said to Liberians in the entire world when he visited Grand Bassa. Associate Justice Yusuf Kaba, who is forced to be on the list of sanctioned officials because of these judicial ineptitudes. So the judiciary, Justice Nyame Kwekwe Gbese, you need not to be complaining. You need not to be making political statements. You need not to be talking as if you are a Yanobo somewhere in Watersa. You are presiding over the judicial system of our country, over the jurisprudence of this entire nation. You are clear with the responsibility to do the right thing so that our rights and responsibilities can be properly balanced and we can be protected under the law. As the law protects us, we in response give to the law our responsibility in terms of making sure that we play our role as citizens. So, Chief Justice, you need to go back in your closet, set up a plan that is workable, get around those that can work them out, and let's do something to change the system. And forget about the murmuring, forget about the complaint, forget about the political tricks and statements, comments, just for showmanship and just to blamfoo. Those will not work when we are around because we will expose them. The fact that Liberians will need to know you are not the person to complain. We should be complaining that we need stronger democracy. And that complaint will be probably on the basis that the judiciary or the judicial system of our country is weak, or the executive is overreaching its powers, or we could maybe have some issue with the legislature in terms of the perpetual corruption that continue to persist in the corridors of the Capitol building. So it is not you, Chief Justice. We depend on you to make it stronger. So who are you calling on for our democracy to be stronger? We should be calling on you, Chief Justice. Yeah, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can fool all of the people all of the time. And that leads us to our next topic. Then we will take course on our Wednesday's edition of Freedom Hard Talk on Freedom FM here on 87.9 frequency. That's the guest expulsion. Speaker Richard Kuhn already having issues with the Constitution, having social issues with his life in terms of his marriage life, involving with extra marital affairs, which are not in conformity with standards laid out for public officials, which are not the right steps public officials need to take because they are role models. They are the people the next generation follow after. So on that basis, they need to set characters that are transparent enough for the younger generation to see through and have a clear sight for a prospect that will allow them build their future, which will be intended to lift our country, develop it, and prosper all of our citizens. Not leaders that have character deficit, not leaders that have anger issues, not speaker that burglarize Capitol building speaker office. Somebody who was not legitimately and legally elected as Speaker of the Republic of Liberia when we had a sitting speaker. That person who burglarized the sitting speaker office because he decided to steal power. He decided to take power by force. This is the man who is warning his colleagues, who is saying to his colleagues, telling his colleagues that they should do this, they should do that, even though he does not have that legal and legislative authority to do so, but he's overreaching his power to the extent that he's violating Article 3 of the Liberian Constitution that talks about separation of power. He's also violating Article 57 of the Liberian Constitution that provides for the president to be in charge and conduct the foreign relations of our country. This is the same speaker who is now attempting to undermine the same Article 42 that provides for all of them protection under the Constitution. That says whatever a lawmaker does or say, whatever position, vote cast, and whatever done as a sitting lawmaker is privileged. And this speaker, regime speaker, who is not with a good heart for this country, is calling for the impeachment and expulsion of Representative Yeke Koluba. How does it work? You burglarize the sitting speaker office, force yourself in power and protected by Gregory Kumo and the bunch of gangs. You stay in power and wield power around yourself. Every day you go to Capitol building, you are unable to wield the required number to allow quorum for the business of the legislature. Just 37 persons from 73. 37 persons, that's quorum for legislative business. You are unable to get 37 persons, even though you said you had more than 49 persons to make you speaker. You see why I keep saying this is a de facto speaker. because the brother does not have any legitimacy. Under the brother struggle for power illegally and illegitimately, unlegislatively, as a renegade and as a rebel, the brother and his legs went at the extreme to the extent they burglarized the sitting speaker office. In fact, the man presiding as the third man in the country who is talking about impeaching Representative Yeke Koruba, threatening and warning his colleagues, even though they have equal legislative power, just that he first and most equal, so that there be a leader, because even if we were a team, there must be a captain. And he's giving his friends warning. This is a man who burst into the vehicle of Representative Yeke Koruba. You see influence peddling? And these guys think after the leadership, they will not account for all these aggressions, all these intrusions and invasions of our sovereignty, our democracy, our peace, stability, the norms, our traditional norms, cultural values, that they are eroding. They think, Richard Kuhn thinks in his little thinking or in his little mind that those actions will go unnoticed or will go with impunity. I tell you, Richard Kuhn, it takes 3 years, it takes 5 years, it takes 10 years, it takes 20 years, it takes 50 years, 100 years. We will pass down the message over to those that will take over from us. You guys will pay for the evil that you continue to perpetrate against Liberia. Your struggle for power, your extreme struggle for power, your greed not to wait for power to come at the appropriate time, at God's time, at God's will. Your struggle for power illegally or legislatively, outside of normal democratic tenets, saw the Capitol building. The Capitol building that was built under the regime of the late President William Vakanara Shedrack Tubman, saw that building gutted in flame because one Richard Namwekun, by all costs, as regime speaker from the preamble of the Barker's administration, that he's a regime speaker, he's the regime speaker, and by all costs, he should be the regime speaker, and he should be speaker by all costs. The Capitol building was burning one Sunday morning we woke up in Monrovia. That the people are talking about protecting our democracy. Richard Kuhn bossing a friend and car, stealing computer from there. Representative Yeke Koruba said computer lost, other things lost from there because of power. Bossing the speaker door, burglary. Under the Liberian law, the last time I checked, is a criminal offense. Nobody's doing anything about it. Nobody's saying anything about it. And that was against the Constitution of Liberia. It was even against Article 42 of the Liberian Constitution. In fact, under Article 44, that talks about contempt of the legislature, there were several constitutional provisions that were violated under the raw quest for power by Richard Kuhn and his group of Kaba. Capitol building, cash on fire, Capitol building burning. Speaker office, he bust the door. In case the speaker had his finances being kept in there. In case the speaker had other important assets being kept in there. In case the speaker had other private classified information as the Speaker of the Republic of Liberia dealing with security matters and presiding over the legislative agenda of the executive. Why, in case there were classified and legislative documents that only needed to be handled by the sitting speaker. The guy bust the speaker door and went into the speaker's office and take the speaker's seat, almost like Yaya Jammeh would do in Gambia, almost like Idris Deby Mahama would do in Chad, almost like the labor from Mali would do, almost like, I will not talk about Burkina Faso because the young man is making progress, almost like Nyasimbe would do in Gabon to Ali Bongo Ondimba. These are the trend of events we are watching unfold under the misguided leadership of a vindictive Baka, a man who seeks to go after every inch of George Weah's proximity. The man who seeks only to bring down what is associated, what is called, what is resembling, and what shows any semblance of affiliation with the George Weah or CDC. Evidence of the massive presence of armed men at the headquarters of the CDC, just to break it down. Even though nobody had any plan to do anything there, even though CDC did not default in terms of payment, even though CDC wanted to purchase a place, even though CDC was in line with the law, even though CDC and former President George Weah and members of the family had good rapport, including Archibald Bernard, who served as security advisor or legal advisor to the president for 6 years. So where the issue came from? It was clear that Joe Baka, Mo Ali, Jeremiah Kuhn, they clicked to go after the CDC and George Weah, and every baby that is close to George Weah that could be a potential first-time voter will be targeted by Joe Baka. That is the modus operandi of the Joe Baka's legislative agenda, his presidential agenda, his judicial agenda, everything that has to do with his agenda for every ensuing year. When he finished addressing the legislature, will definitely be to persecute his perceived political opponents, since indeed he's a lame dog. President Baka does not have any clue as to what's happening at the border. You think a man who not able to control the border, you think that man can get any momentum to say, I able to get the space of winning election? No way. In far from it. Very, very far. They may not able to control the border. They may not even know what's happening there. In fact, Dumuya have already given this border a red line. Right now, at the border, the police, even when the RG was there, our own land, Labrador land, where the Guinean forces were, the RG could not access our own land up to the border that should belong to us, since the Guineans have already come very close to Foya by occupying land that belongs to Liberia. The RG, the B-man for all the police people in the whole country, he couldn't pass there. He couldn't have an authority to access Liberia land that they kind of jokers, the kind of clowns that you can give power, you can put us in a kind of problem. Howbeit, when I blame you, because sometimes you never try, you never know. So when I blame you, but as for Yeke, Koluba, expulsion, it's complicated. Yes, Joe Barker, like he arm twisted the judiciary and the legislature. He got his way with tenure positions. He got his way with illegally removing the speaker and placing over the legislature his puppet that he brought from District 11 after scrambling with election, after struggling to win an election from District 11, going to court, and even going after somebody's residential legitimacy because the person was perceived as an existential threat to his bid. This is the man that comes to power, thinks that he will not leave power. You do not even have a stronghold in your own district. You don't have that face. You are a schemer. You have always been a schemer, and nobody takes you seriously. So on that basis, these guys are trying to amass unimaginable wealth overnight. That's why you see the regime speaker is working closely with Joe Barker to make sure that the stem of freedom of speech, censor the press, and make sure that they continue to fill the Liberian people with misinformation and disinformation so that they continue to hold on power. These are the individuals we are dealing with. People who are used to taking country money, building homes that they will not be able to sustain, buying and purchasing vehicles that if they do not have the positions they are in now, they will sell those vehicles back to George Hada because they will not have the capacity to buy just fuel, a day's fuel for those vehicles. And they are wasting our resources and thinking that Liberians will just continue to sit on and watch these things unfold while miscreants like these group of kleptocrats walk away with impunity, witch hunt people who have served this country with diligence, with huge sacrifices, who to the extent their service to this country, putting their chest to bullets, caused them to have their families losing their future, their case being placed under sanction, even though their case were not involved with governance issue. You can't play fun around this place and you think that you can get away with whatever you want to do, Mr. Barker. You think so? You can get away with it. 3 years running now. 3 years running, Mr. Barker. Today is the 25th. We're about to enter the 4th month. Patience and patience was it. That is in our DNA. Once you say a George Weah Connect, it is embedded in us. We are trained to patience. We are gorillas when it comes to patience. We are gorilla trained, patient-minded group of people that do not rush and jump the gun. We are people that are in our corner and don't need what other people have. We wait for what belongs to us. That is the grassroots orientation. That is the grassroots movement that cannot be cracked. Even though they wish to extinguish the light of that particular movement, that blue movement that is led by that immaculate leader who continues to provide guardians for peace and tranquility in this country and protecting the democracy of our country, and no one else but George Weah, former president of this country. And you think you can intimidate Yeke Koluba with expulsion, with a speaker that violated Article 3, violated Article 57. The man usurping your function as president. You there, you pushing the man to go expel Yeke Koluba because Yeke Koluba disagree with you. Oh, when you people, when you were all trooping to District 10, when you set up a committee, specialized committee, just to truck voters to District 10, even though those voters that were chalked, they didn't know the situation the people of District 10 were faced. They didn't know what the people of District 10 were going through and undergoing as it relates to the relations with the lawmaker, Honorable Yeke Koluba. You were trooping into that district just to protect Representative Yeke Koluba for unleashing misguided gibberish and reckless verbiages against then President George Manneh Weah. You said it was good at the time. You were in bed with this particular individual. So why are you angry? Why do you want to expel Representative Yeke Koluba when yesterday you stood with him? When yesterday he insulted former President George Manneh Weah, and there was a clear evidence for his expulsion. You stood with him as Unity Party. You as the head of Unity Party, Mr. Bwaka, did not say a word, even though the office of the president that you wanted to occupy, that you always clamor to occupy, was being denigrated. Condescending remarks were being used on that office. It was endorsed, accepted, embraced, approved, and sanctioned by you, Mr. Bwaka, by placing Yeke on your campaign team, Prophet Key on your campaign team, and all of those who were spewing lunacy. You incorporated them. You made them. You expanded their wings. Today, in the words of former Speaker Buffer Chambers, he said, junkies, don't worry about that. That's boomerang. It has gone, but it will come back. It already gone. When it go, it will hit there. It will hit all over, and all the corners. It will still come back to where you shoot it from. When you're pointing your finger, you should know the other ones are pointing back at you. We'll give our people more time to have their say tonight. These are our talking points. You can call us on those numbers on 086 500 104 0776 104 104 086 500 104. Our diaspora callers, you can call us on our WhatsApp line. For our diaspora callers only, on our WhatsApp line, call us on +231 86 500 104 +231 86 500 104. We'll go to that. We'll take our first caller. This caller, your name and where are you joining us from? Hello? Hello?
Hello, I come on.
By God's grace, I am guarded.
Okay, thank you for your talking point this evening. No, President Bwaka, you don't know what they are doing. Because he coming all the time for expect you get cover from the house. And he's too bad you get cover when he sorted the Tomofana. He's too bad you cover when he on a car. You know, when he's sorting the person, a former person, we are a wealthy mother, everybody down to the bad president. He knew that you couldn't gain position to. Then the child will tell us that you get cover shouldn't insult. Where you get cover insult everybody. Now the Prophet King, you insult. So where people. Okay, we're going to call it for District 1 Grand County.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll leave it there and go to line 2 and take our caller here. Hello?
Yes, hello?
Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Foy Mawona. I do join Comfort Zone in the Shore District number 3. So this is important for me.
Yeah, you got to reduce the volume of your monitor. You are bustling my ears.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Am I clear now?
Clear.
All right. Yeah, I just want to send a message to our president because just at the moment, he had the power in his hand to control our land and where the Guineans are taking over the place. Where is the power that we gave him as the brain? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll leave it there and go to this caller on line 3. Hello? Hello? Yeah.
Hello?
How are you?
Yeah, I'm Joy calling for Russia.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, my topic is that Yaga Koroba. Yeah, Yaga Koroba, according to Georgia, you are happy. Yaga Koroba, so anything that you have there is one vision. I think it's Yaga Koroba for why you want to do. No, I'm not nothing to anybody. So then the year, look at the thing when it's safe and there was a point about. I do a couple of hours of Yaga Koroba. Yeah, I think I want to tell you, get ready to go and Yaga Koroba. When you say for now, we're going back.
But if you vote for Yeke Korba now, then Yeke Korba goes against your part of government. You see where how will you feel again?
No problem. We're going back.
Okay. Thank you. We leave it there and hey, what you want to do to my ear now?
Hello?
Yes. How are you?
Abraham and me are calling on the line.
Yeah, Abraham, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the show. But I want to say the United Palestinians just want to take Labrador and they want to add a hero. But they have no control over the nation because if they have control, then Palestine they should go to the border and make our people that already left their own home and flee to other people's home for them to make sure so they can go back to their various home then for them to stay there and be quiet people that they will not say anything that is happening to the border is wrong. If you want to show all that you giant, then you go there and tell the people, say, this place not for you. Go back to where you belong. But they're not going there. But rather they come over here and they start to get fake news. And whereby our people that live in there, they are free from their home. And they go to other people's home and they're there. So it's wrong. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll leave it there and go back to line 1 and take this call. Your name and where you joining us from?
Thank you. This is Edmoka. Good evening, Morris.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. And I'm the visual impaired for the return of President Weah.
Yeah, Edmond. Go ahead, Edmond.
You put it right. And if you have a president in the country, and when the presidency, he started acting like it was a demon ball. That was brought them where they are today. Because if you win the presidency, like he was advanced by order, even the very ECOWAS Commission. When they came to Liberia, they told him that when you win the presidency, you win as one person and one political party, and maybe one or two joining you to win the election. What is important is to reconcile your country. Then you can move on with development. The government failed to listen. The change President Weah is supported everywhere. Anything resembles President Weah up to President Bwaka and his collaborators, they don't want to hear it, they don't want to see it. So here now we are in crisis. How do we do it? The nation remains divided, and then we are faced with crisis. They don't want to use arrogance and think it says they will suppress the view of the Liberian people and call on what is going on in Lofakate. No, you can't do that. So what the Unity Party is faced with right now is external external and internal crisis. While the external forces are coming against us, here, Liberia, we are fighting against one another. How do we do that? How do we hold? How can we hold as a nation together? When we could not hold yesterday, in the midst of the crisis now, we shall call you attempted to make it to appear as if nothing is happening, and which can score something serious is happening. It just speaks for to the fact that the president lacks the ability to solve problems, to take care of issue. Then instead of them looking at me behind Yeke, what has Yeke said? What so much he said that necessitates you even making a attempt to call back the legislature for 2 weeks sitting? You can be in the list that you should be expelled or you should be or suspended or this and that. You're wasting our time, spend your money again and wasting our time. But for what? Whatsoever the man said, if he colleagues want to invite me to explain himself, he had the right to do so. But to go strictly and start attacking and leaving the real issue, that is the same thing I talk about, the internal fight. Because instead of together and fight what is on we are fighting again, fighting again here, where we'll be able to get with this thing up to present. There is no clear-cut information as to where we are, but yet we are hearing diplomacy, we say hearing peace, but the guys have down our door and we are sitting outside and saying we are pursuing peaceful method, we are pursuing diplomatic method and getting nowhere. And we will speak up, we say cool to the guy for always creating the platform for us and we're able to speak to the issue that affect our country. Thank you.
Thank you. We leave you and go back to line one. Hello. How are you? Welcome.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much for your talking point. What on government. What do the full branch of government? What do which one of the article I can see that law never have the power to impeach the police. Now the citizen that the man represented easily to count all to the we have 10,000 senators to impeach the representative, but only representative will impeach their friend. So the country now, no law in the country, the law tell us that on one video. So the only man who is having that will not get the rule of law now. So the rule of law now carry on, the only man carry on now. And the richest people come up, the whole day to happen, and they find out. If you say no, they will not eat a pea and get problem with you. Get do anything to you, they go and certify the executive, go and do all of your richest people. The same people that are supporting Yeke today, and they say we can Yeke, see your PJ man, when the man tells you, lot your parties, get money, I get on the street and say, they want Yeke, but now the richest people tell us, you got me paying Yeke Koluwa. So it was out spoiling the tap, when they tap you of money, it was passing to do. Yeah, the country to give me a level of polo, you had to solve problem. But people on other to make that far, so they get full for that. You want to say that tomorrow, that some of us can over to see the party and all the digital take you out. We are one kind to get all I want. They're making monkey and all. We didn't love people.
Thank you. We'll leave you and go to line 2. Hello, your name and where you joining us from?
Yeah, hello, I'm calling from the system.
Go ahead. Junkies Morris here.
All right, thank you, Junkies. The topic on the discussion is very important. But I think what the government should be focusing on now is what happened at the border. We are like Liberians and we know that this particular thing that is happening is so scary. The UPs are afraid, the citizens are afraid, and all other parties in Liberia are afraid because if things goes wrong, everyone will be affected. So what I think they should be concentrating on now is how to resolve that issue
and take their eyes from on Yeke. Because when you do that and you start fighting outside, at the same time you're fighting inside, the very enemy and I will try to prevent them, so they're fighting among themselves. They will easily penetrate and make things worse for us. So how they call it, legislator or whoever the speaker should remove his attention from on what Yeke said. If you really want to take issue with Yeke, let the problem at the border be solved. Let it be resolved. Even as I'm talking to you on the phone, I don't know where we are at that border case. I can't tell you. Anybody asking how's the situation, I don't get nothing to say. We're just following different news from different places, and these things are worrisome. Don't forget about Yeke Koduba, and you pay attention to what is happening, because they say rope hop push hop rope. I listened to how they call it, Bob Nicky speaking. It was scaring. We can be talking about, going through the diplomatic channel, then you got a former rebel leader making a kind of statement. So tell me now, who inciting now? Tell me who inciting? I expected even the information minister will be able to tell these guys, gentlemen, you hold your peace. We are following this channel. Let everything be resolved and of course. But when you start telling the person for you, you say, oh, you for me? Okay, can you leave me there? I said too. I get my honor son. I get my honor son here. My honor daughter here. We'll fight. And then know that you prepare to fight. So the thing is a common law, a common wisdom. You can be seeking for peace and you get beating war drum. They didn't see that want to be wrong. But you say that because they are targeting Yeke? So it's wrong. They should forget about Yeke and let them focus on what is happening. Because what is happening over there, if it's not handled, the very speaker, the president, with his civilian, the pastor, the imam, everyone will be affected. I thank you guys.
Thank you. We'll leave it there. We'll leave it there and go to line 2. Hello. Hello. How are you?
I'm patient.
Go ahead, patient.
So the issue is Koruba. When they come and realize that you can get that remark or insult. It was here for the past 6 years. You can Koruba insulted. We are the one praising him, clapping for him. We told them that they at him bad. Don't insult leader. They say they make a story true. The truth they make talking now, they won't go against him. And see what him going on. For me, I said no. They should leave Yeke Koruba alone. They may say the truth. If you want to remove Yeke Koruba, you say diplomatic me. Because we tell them, one can't stop the power of giving the thing, we use the diplomatic me. Before you move Yeke too, you say diplomatic me. And you say diplomatic me too. Because we say, one can't stop the power and say, too diplomatic. When you say diplomatic me, then you won't move Yeke Gerada, you will use the same diplomatic me. Don't leave Yeke Koruba. They may say the truth.
Okay.
They say to your own water spoon. They say, water spoon, they say the truth. They never tell you, say, prepare for today. When a water spoon says they, you say, the men are criminal. Why you the party people? You give me one time. Today now, you can listen to water spoon. Before you be asking one another, you listen to spoon down there. What spoon say?
What spoon say?
Today they can listen to spoon. We don't want to listen to spoon now. We don't want to ask one another. You listen to spoon down there. Thank you,
Okay. Thank you for your call. We'll leave it there and go to line 3. Hello.
Good evening, Brother Ebi.
No. Hello. Okay, we'll go to line 3 and take this call. Hello. Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah. Lower your monitor now. Go ahead. You're breaking in. Make some adjustments. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, how are you?
My son is here. My name is Mahi. I'm calling from 72nd.
Go ahead,
I want to
ma'am.
tell you people thank you for all the knowledge and the pieces set in our head because within the days we to forget. Unity Party came to power and they all kinds of things to us. Ebola, Baba Matthew, Harry Tree, all that one, everything have been look at it. But then they put them back. They put them back now for him to see about the country, but he's running after job here. He's running after the former finance minister. He's running after Francisco. What all I want? So Parker is not doing nothing. He will not do nothing for that people. The land where you want to stay in Kiri, they're not talking about it. It's really about it. They all kinds of things. And so, me, I want to tell you, my children, me, I am not doing speaking to you. We tired suffering. But that thing already. They're talking about Kiri, they're not saying anything. They didn't want to run on the local back. The former prime minister, when Parker pay without me, the way they pay to pay, you will see what will happen to him. That all has to tell him. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We leave it there and go. Oh God, this call online.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm standing here scared of money. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm scared of money for sugarcane farm. What the government is for? They're the one that created a problem. Who told them to go and mine over there? In international water. They ever informed the Guinean government that if they are not doing that thing, the Guinean government, we're not going to send soil on their farm, to our farm, on our land. So they should leave Yagakola and go solve the problem. They shouldn't waste on Yagakola. Yagakola has not done anything. They want cause Yagakola to say that if they are not called that problem, Yagakola are not going to say those things.
Thank you, Pap. We'll leave it there and go back to line 1 and take this call. Hello? Yeah, go ahead. Quickly, our lines are bustling.
Okay, my name is Alvin Chair. I'm calling from Soccer Democrat to be precise. Get my brother straight to the issue. Let me make this slumpy. You got me? My brother, that one thing that I always saw the whole saga from the beginning, when it's getting soya cars with the clearing the flag, the Lufians rising against them, they went back. The next day, they stood across the flag on the winner of his legs. And not too long, do we have several President Baga. He went there. When he went there, we saw them holding hands. When he came out there, he said that everything was peaceful, everything was fine. But Baga came that next day in the morning over 11, the Guineans crossed, they came back to our land. And before then, when that thing happened with the weather first, the immigration was not immigration. They came to that land, they were deployed for AFL, they were there. Oh, what the thing? What is us? What the AFL? That the immigration out of them, they let that thing down there. It was the next day, the Guineans came back. So you can know what he's saying. The brother know what the man doing. He know, but they're hiding it. They're keeping it. Dealing with it, they're updating little property. What are they for? You know, my brother. So thank you very much. I rest my case.
Thank you. We'll leave it there and go to line 3. Hello?
How are you,
By God Almighty grace, I'm guided.
I'm Mr. Sylvester KPM. Specifically,
yeah, go ahead quickly.
I'm speaking to you directly today. Everybody here go back and focus on the fire that coming between. You know, no causing that problem. They want to solve the problem. Then they leave alone. They want us to have peace. They don't have a problem. We have to go back and let them do what they do. They look for a problem. How much going to do anything about it? So let us go back and look and focus. Please.
Thank you. We we leave it there and go back to line 1 and take our call here. Hello.
Yeah, hello, my brother.
How are you?
Yeah, thank God.
Go ahead.
We think Joseph Waka. Let him lead the quarterback. He should not consist about 20 people. Because the main issue that on fire is killing and local about killing that everybody has a game. And the person has nothing to tell everybody because even the what is going on when you sustain. They got the quarterback issue so good. Attention about the quarterback too. The person is the board never comes around it. And you want to take zero, then you get to the quarter issue. But everybody has said here, they enjoy the quarterback. So, the thing of if the lotion of it, then they can say that because we are there, we get to consider that the lotion of it. So, tell me, my brother.
Okay, we leave you and go to line 2. Hello.
Hello.
How are you and where are you joining us from?
My name is SAB Sign. I call from station number 13.
Go ahead.
The only thing I have on my mind is that the entire government should resign. That's all. If we can protect the own citizens, then they resign. God will take control of our land.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Short and sweet. Okay, we squeeze in the last 3 calls because we decided today be an opportunity for our people. So we go back to line 1, squeeze in the last 3 calls, at which time we call it a night on our Wednesday May week edition of the program Freedom Hard Talk on Freedom FM 87.9. We go back to line 1 and take this call. Hello. Okay. So before we can leave you, let's quickly visit our sponsors here. And
Then your solution is Bokonjira Group of Companies. Bokonjira, your trusted partner in microfinance, construction, and general services. We provide microfinance for many institutions like House of Representatives, the Liberian Senate, National Port Authority, Governance Commission, LRA, Gender Ministry, Corporate Development Authority, GAC, and Auto Lines Ministry and Agency, with a percentage range from 15% to 20%. At Bokonjire, we understand your aspiration, your goals, and your dreams. That's why we offer tailored microfinance solutions designed to uplift individuals and communities alike. Whether you are an entrepreneur with a vision or a family aiming for a better tomorrow, our microfinance services pave the way to financial independence. But that's not all. Bokonjira Group of Companies doesn't just stop at microfinance. Our expert construction team brings your architecture dreams to life. From residential to commercial projects, we craft spaces that inspire, innovate, and endure. And when it comes to general services, Bokonjire is your one-stop destination. From facility management to logistics, we ensure seamless operation every step of the way. With our apartment rental and furnished apartment for long and short-term stay, you will enjoy the luxury of comfort. Join the thousands who have entrusted their dreams to Bokonjire. Experience unmatched professionalism, dedication, and integrity. With Bokonjire Group of Companies, your success is not just a goal, it's our mission. Visit our Capitol Building office or find us in the Royal Garden Plaza on Crown Hill, Broad Street, or call today 0770-520-958 or 0777-017-603 or 086-622-599 or email Bokonjire Group of Companies at gmail.com. Bokonjire Group of Companies, microfinance, construction, general services, your partner in progress. New Day, do something.
My brother, God can bless anybody.
Win big today with Win Liberia on Freedom FM. Yes, for just $100 Liberian dollars or 50 cents United States dollars, you can win from 4,000 Liberian dollars up to 10,000 Liberian dollars. And for $200 Liberian dollars or $1 United States dollar on Japa days, You can win from 15,000 Liberian dollars, 50,000 Liberian dollars, 100,000 Liberian dollars, and up to 1 million Liberian dollars. For these amazing prizes, dial *255*1#. Again, dial *255*1#. The more you play, the better your chances. It's Win Liberia Cash Giveaway on Freedom FM.
My people, where you at? Where you at? Wake up from your slumber, stop sleeping. Wave your hands, wave your hands, wave your hands, wave your. Come on, come on, come on. I know y'all sleeping now. Y'all gotta wake up some more, yeah? Okay, let's go. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. I said they lie. The people fool us
So again,
the government betray us.
that's how we call it at night.
I said we tired with their lies.
On your fascinating program, Freedom Hard Talk, here on Freedom FM 87.9.
We tired with that speech they preach in.
Thanks to all of you from the diaspora level here in Liberia, those following all, via whatever media you are following us. Thanks to you. Keep following us, and we'll be back here tomorrow, same time, same station. Again, I'm Junkies Morris, was here in your company from 8 o'clock since this evening. I want to say bye-bye from my end, and I will see you on tomorrow when we see.
The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. I said they lie. The people fool